Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the DIY in Workday functional overview. We're going to get started shortly, so please sit tight. We'll start probably in about 2 or 3 minutes as folks are filing in. Welcome, everyone. You have joined the functional overview for do-it-yourself in Workday session. We thank you for joining us. We're going to be starting shortly. We still have a bunch of attendees that are signing into the webinar. So thank you for your patience. Okay, we are at 11 o'clock, and so we will go ahead and get started as folks are joining. I just wanted to go over a few housekeeping items, if you will. You are attending the Welcome to the Do-It-Yourself Workday session, functional overview, so hopefully you're in the right spot, and we're happy to have you join us. A few of the housekeeping items that I want to point out, we have enabled the live transcript. If you would like that option, it's in your Zoom at the bottom. You can use the full screen, click live transcript, and then you have the option to show or hide as you want. The second point is we are recording this session and we will make it available on the Elevate website. What we post on the website is actually two things. One is we post this entire session, including the slide decks and our narrative, but we also break out the individual recorded demos. So if you would like to just see or repeat one of the demonstrations that we've shown, it's isolated out to just that segment if you just want to take a look at the 5-minute or 6-minute video. And the last thing I want to call out is we have enabled the Q&A feature of the webinar. So we encourage you throughout the presentation, type your questions in. We have a team of folks here working in the background that are triaging and will be answering those questions. And we have allotted time at the end of the presentation to take some of those questions live. So with that, we will go ahead and get started. Again, this is the functional overview for DIY in Workday, otherwise known as employee self-service. And we thank you for joining us today. My name is Gabe Bugenhagen. I'm the change management lead on the Elevate program. I have experience on the College Park campus for the past 15 years. I've held a number of different roles in a research center and academic unit. And I joined the Elevate program about a year ago. I'm joined with me today by Lee Ellis and Karen Dieso. So if you guys can, Lee, introduce yourself to the group. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lee Ellis. I am the training and readiness lead for the Elevate program. I've been on the College Park campus since 2015, and I, like Gay, joined the program last year. I'll be sharing some of the presentation, and I'll also be the voice of the demo.
And my name is Karen Dieso. I'm the communications lead for Elevate. Like Gay and Lee, I joined Elevate last year, was previously with the engineering school, and I will be helping today with the question and answer session by triaging the questions that come in, posing them to our team, and then I also have a couple of Elevate team members on the back end helping out with those as well. So,
great. Thanks, guys. So if you may have heard about the Elevate program either through emails or town halls or whatever, but the Elevate program is the ones that are responsible for making sure that you are ready for Workday and that Workday is ready for us. So what are functional overviews? If you attended the first one that we did back in February, fantastic, and we're glad to welcome you back to the second one. If this is your first time with us at a functional overview, I just wanted to lay some expectations. These are going to be monthly demonstrations that will give you a sneak peek of Workday. It's not going to be our formal training that will start in spring of 2023. But we want to make sure that these are open to everyone across all of our partner entities. And the sessions will continue right up about until we start our formal training. So the January, February of 23 timeframe. We try to keep these sessions to less than an hour. Our target is 45 minutes, so we can respect your time and give you a chance to make it to your next series of meetings, or at this time, maybe you go to lunch. The second thing, or the fourth thing here is these are optional. We welcome you. We want to raise awareness. We've been getting a lot of questions. People want to see what's going on with Workday. And so we hope the functional overviews will do that for you. And lastly, it's a preview of the system. We're still making some minor tweaks, and what you see today might have some minor differences in the way that it appears when it goes live. For example, we tend to have a Maryland banner, and it's a picture of the College Park campus. That might look different when you go live in July. Again, I want to call out that the functional overview is an opportunity for you to ask questions. So that Q&A feature is live there. Please, throughout the session, type your questions in. And as Karen noted, she and some of our Elevate team members will be helping to triage and provide answers to those questions. And now I'll turn it over to Lee to get us started with the agenda.
Thanks, Gay. All right. So today we're going to start with an overview of what we mean by DIY in Workday before we cover more about the worker profile. We're going to do a demo on the worker profile so that you can get a feel for what you can view and edit. And then we're going to recap some key considerations for personal information in Workday before we dive in with 3 more demos. We'll be showing you how to change your pronouns, how to change the display language that's used in Workday, and also your emergency contacts. Then we're going to wrap up by sharing with you where to learn more about the Elevate program and have a brief Q&A session. So again, we encourage you to ask your questions using that Q&A feature. We had a lot of great participation in our last functional overview. So we want you to, feel able to get as many questions in that we're happy to answer. So with that, let's talk about what we mean by do it yourself. By DIY, what we mean is employee self-service, or ESS. So ESS is what you can view, edit, and take action on in Workday. Employee self-service includes managing your personal and contact information, as well as being able to view your own information, like, for example, your job title, your manager, your compensation, other information like that. And because we're using Workday for this, you will also be able to complete most ESS activities, not only from your computer, but also from the Workday mobile app, if you choose to download it on your personal device. There are other activities that we call ESS that fall into areas like time tracking, and we are dedicating separate functional overviews to that and other important ESS activities. But for this functional overview, we're going to focus on employee self-service for your information in Workday. So a little bit about the worker profile. Your information resides in what's called the worker profile. And that's where you can view information such as you see on the screen: preferred and legal name, addresses, emergency contacts, personal information, pronouns, as I mentioned before, your compensation and pay slips. So you'll be able to edit some of this information, like your emergency contact and personal info. But in cases like your personal info where you have pronouns, adding this information is completely optional. And in this, the next demo, the demo that you're about to see, you're going to see some of these areas. We're also going to introduce the very important actions button on the worker profile and the related actions, which is a very important key navigational component in Workday. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and start our first demo.
Let's do a deeper dive on what is available on the worker profile and how to navigate within your profile. For this demonstration, I will be logging in as Evan employee in a Workday training environment. Let's get started. You can access your worker profile through the profile icon in the upper right-hand corner of Workday. Once you click the profile icon, click View Profile. We always land on the Summary tab of the worker profile. This page gives us a summary of information about our job, manager, and work contact information. There's much more to see via the left panel. On the left panel, you'll see your name, your title, the Actions button, access to your organizational chart, and the tabs that organize the information in your profile. The tabs give you access to other areas within your profile, such as your compensation, time off, pay, contact information, personal information, and performance information. Let's review some of the key tabs, starting with the Time Off tab. The Time Off tab opens on the Time Off and Leave Requests tab. All of Evan's requests display, and you can see that from here we have the option to edit time off as well as add or edit an absence. At the top of the page you can see there's another sub-tab, Time Off Balance. If I click Time Off Balance, you will see Evan's time off balance by absence plan. Next, let's look at the Contact tab. You will see Evan's home and work contact information is visible. Notice how, under Visibility, it shows whether the information is either private or public to general users in Workday. Emergency contacts are also included in the Contact tab. Okay, let's go to the Personal tab next. On the Personal tab, you'll see information is split into different subtabs: personal information, names, IDs, documents, and additional data. Personal information includes gender, date of birth, race/ethnicity, citizenship status, sexual orientation, gender details, and pronouns. I'll click Edit so you can see more details. Clicking Edit took us to the Change My Personal Information page. Each section includes details, including visibility and usage of each piece of information. Personal information will be visible only to certain central roles in Workday, for example, HR. The exception for this is your pronouns, which you can opt in to make your pronouns public to anyone with access to Workday. Adding race/ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender details, and pronouns are optional in Workday. We'll talk more about changing your pronouns as well as the associated additional data sub-tab in the Change Your Pronouns demonstration. For now, I'll click Cancel. Now that we're back on the Personal tab, let's view some of the other sub-tabs, starting with Names. The Names sub-tab includes legal and preferred name and the option to update each. If we click Edit, you'll see more context via help text. For example, if we were to update Evan's legal name, Workday lets us know that we must attach documentation to support the legal name change. And if we were to attach documentation, we'd use this area right here to select a file or drag and drop a file right into Workday. A marriage certificate could be uploaded as supporting documentation for a name change, for example. On this page, you can see there are mandatory fields to complete before clicking Submit. A mandatory field is marked by a red asterisk. If Evan were to submit this request, Workday would automatically direct it to the right people, like HR, to approve or send back the request. For now, let's click Cancel. We're returned to the Personal tab on Evan's worker profile. We just looked at the Names subtab, so let's quickly look at the others, starting with IDs subtab. The IDs subtab includes government and other IDs that you can upload as needed. Next, I'll click Documents subtab. The Documents subtab will include any worker-related documents that have been uploaded. A sample document was uploaded so that you can see what it looks like. Notice that I can click on the Worker Documents hyperlink, and the document displays in a window. I can download the document or print if I wanted to, but it's just a sample document, so we'll skip doing that. Instead, I'll click out to return to the Documents subtab so I can show you two other areas related to actions. So far, we've been going directly to tabs and subtabs to view and have the option to edit information. From the left panel, we have the Actions button that can also navigate you to these sections. The Actions menu displays frequently used worker-related actions at the top, followed by categories so that you can quickly navigate what you want to do. For example, hovering over personal data, you can see the actions you're able to complete related to your personal information. The Elevate team is still reviewing all the actions, so what you see in this demo is subject to change. What isn't changing is that clicking Actions is another way for you to see what actions you can take in Workday. Let me show you what it looks like to navigate using the Actions button. Let's click Change Emergency Contacts. Now I am on the Change Emergency Contacts page. This is where I could add or edit my emergency contact information. I'll show you more on how to do that in the Change Emergency Contact video. Okay, I hope you learned more about the types of information contained in your profile and some of the actions you can take from the worker profile.
I hope you enjoyed seeing some of the elements or items that we have in that worker profile. If you're like me, I'm kind of excited to get in there and try some of those new features. I'd like to repeat a few of the key considerations that Lee mentioned in the demo. First, for your personal information, some of these fields are going to be optional. The call out on the optional ones are the gender details, your pronouns, your sexual orientation, and your race/ethnicity. As Lee noted in the demo, there are some required fields, but we want to make sure our folks understand that the items on here are going to be optional. The second call out is your personal information will be visible only to certain central roles within Workday, and with the exception of the pronouns that Lee mentioned, that you will have the option to make your pronouns visible to all within Workday, within our case of Workday, or you can keep that private. And lastly, this identity-related personal information will only be used for data reporting, business purposes, and when we have to report at the institutional level. Next, we'll show you a more detailed demonstration on how you add your pronouns to your profile and make them public or private. So I'm not going to go into a lot of the details on here. You'll see it in the demonstration, but there are two call outs that I want to point to. One is that Again, pronouns are going to be optional, and you can control whether that is just for you, just you're the only one that can see it on your profile, or if you want to make that public for anybody across our campuses to see your pronouns. The second call out I want to make is on the right-hand side of this slide, and it's the help text about pronouns. Within the help text, there are two key points, I think. One is the visibility, which gives some help text as to what is the visibility on this item and who can see it. And the second in the help text is the use, and it's letting you know how the information is going to be used. And this help text is similar across all those optional fields. So I think it's helpful to see kind of who can see this and the why. So let's go ahead and jump into the demo on adding pronouns to your profile.
This video shows you how to add or change your pronouns in Workday. Pronouns are optional to add in Workday. Once added, you can remove or update your pronouns. Pronouns default to being hidden to other users in Workday, but I'll show you how to make this public when someone searches your Workday profile. To navigate to the Pronouns section, go to your worker profile by clicking the profile icon and then clicking View Profile in the drop-down menu. From your worker profile, locate the Personal tab on the left panel. You may have to click More to see this tab. We're now on the Personal tab, which has information organized by subtab. Pronouns are located on the Personal Information subtab. It looks like Evan hasn't selected their pronouns yet, so let's click Edit to add them. We're now on the Change Personal Information page. On this page, you can edit your gender, date of birth, race/ethnicity, citizenship status, sexual orientation, gender details, and finally, your pronouns. Let's click the edit icon, which is the pencil. A drop-down list displays with available selections. Pronouns can be used for reporting purposes in Workday, but more importantly, they give you a chance to self-identify. Some of the available options include he, she, they, ze, or a combination. There are a lot of options listed, but you can navigate to the Additional Data subtab to enter your pronouns there if you do not see yours in this list. Let's select he/they for Evan and click Save, which is the check mark button. Evan's pronouns display as added. Now this is important because although the pronouns say added, we still have the Submit button at the bottom of the page to click. By clicking Submit, you're saving your pronoun selection. I'll click Submit now. I get a confirmation that I submitted my pronouns. At this point, Evan's pronouns are displayed to me as I'm logged in as Evan, but Evan must opt into public view for it to display for others to see. Let's do this now by following the instructions provided here in Workday. We need to go to Evan's account, so I'll scroll back up to the top of Workday and click the profile icon. I'm clicking My Account, which displays the My Account menu of options. Let's click Change Public Profile Preferences. The Change Public Profile Preferences page allows you to decide if your pronoun displays on public profile cards on your worker profile. You have the option of either hiding your pronoun from public view or showing your pronoun to all. If you choose to display your pronoun, it will display on your worker profile under your name and on the public profile card. Support roles will continue to have access to this data as defined by your organization. Let's click Show to All and then click Save. Great! Now I can see that the process was successfully completed in Workday. I'll click the Summary tab to navigate to Evan's worker profile. Whether he made it public or not, Evan can see his own pronouns on his worker profile. To give you an example of another employee who shared their pronouns, let's look up Martha Manager. Let's click her name. As Evan, I can see Martha's pronoun under her name. Martha uses she as her pronoun. Good to know! Thanks for sharing, Martha, and thank you to everyone for learning how to change your pronouns in Workday.
All right, so for the next demonstration, we want to show you how to change your display language. There are over 30 languages available so that you can automatically translate Workday to your preferred language. A keynote here is that these are Workday provided translations, so UMD specific content will remain in English. To update your preferred language, and you'll see this in the demo, just real quick, we're going to go to your My Account, the profile, and you're going to go to your profile menu and click Change Preferences to see the preferred display language field there. But so you can see it happening live, let's take a look at the demo.
The default language in Workday is English, but a cool fact is that you can change your display language in Workday to over 30 different languages. To make changes to your display language, let's go to Profile and then click My Account. The My Account menu displays. We'll click Change Preferences. On the Change Preferences page, you'll see the default display language is English. You can set a preferred display language from the Preferred Display Language dropdown. I'll pick Spanish for this demonstration. Then click OK. My preferred display language is now Spanish. For changes to take effect, you must sign out and sign back into Workday. I'll log out and sign back in. Now that I'm signed back in as Evan, I can see that Workday has automatically translated into Spanish. All translations are Workday provided translations. All UMD specific content will remain in English. Thank you for learning how to change your display language preference in Workday.
Okay, so that's how to change your preferred language. It's pretty cool. And now we want to show you how you can change your emergency contacts. You'll be able to navigate to your emergency contacts in a couple ways. The way you see here is via the worker profile. So within your profile, you're going to click Contact tab and then Emergency Contact subtab. Then it's a matter of simply clicking Edit to either edit an existing contact or to add a contact. And there's also another way to get to this simply through the search bar. You can type emergency and results would populate. One of the top results is going to be change my emergency contacts tag, a task. So you can click that and do the same steps. Let's go ahead now and see this in a demo.
To make changes to emergency contacts, we can either enter Change My Emergency Contact into the search bar, or we can navigate to the worker profile. Let's navigate to the worker profile by clicking the profile icon and then click View Profile. From the worker profile, we'll click Contact on the left panel. You may have to click more to see it. We are automatically put on the Contact subtab, which is where we could review and edit home and work contact information. But where I want to go is the Emergency Contacts subtab. I'll click Emergency Contacts now. On the Emergency Contacts subtab, we can see that Evan has added Edna, his spouse, as a contact. We can click Edit to either update Edna's information, or we can even add an additional emergency contact by clicking Edit. I'll click Edit now so we can add another contact. Edna is listed as the primary emergency contact, and we could edit her info if we wanted to by clicking the edit icon or clicking directly into the card. At the bottom, I'll find the Add button for adding an alternate emergency contact. I'll click Add. You can see a lot of fields are available. The required fields are marked with a red asterisk. Let's add Evan's sister Ivana as a contact. I'll start by entering her first and last name. The priority field is used to determine the order in which Evan's contacts should be reached out to. This is more useful if Evan had more than 2 emergency contacts, so we'll leave it at 2. You can see I could mark Ivana as the new primary contact, which would put Ivana's information in a row on the top of the table, but we'll skip that for now. For the relationship field, we'll add that Ivana is Evan's sister. We can add Ivana's preferred language and her address here as well, but any field that does not have a red asterisk is optional. What is mandatory, however, is having at least one form of contact, whether it is a phone, email address, or both. You can see this when I click the error notification that is displaying. We'll add a phone number. Under Phone Device, we'll select Mobile and then enter the country phone code and the phone number. You don't need to add any dashes. Workday will do this automatically once the full number has been added. Once we've added all forms of contact, we'll click Submit to complete the process. Evan's new emergency contact will be visible through his worker profile under the Contact tab. If I needed to remove one of those contacts, I could do that back on the Edit button where I have the option to remove a contact. Evan is happy with having 2 contacts listed, so thank you for learning more about changing emergency contacts.
Great. Thank you, Lee. I appreciate that emergency contact. I know for me, it's sometimes in different screens, and it's nice that everything is in Workday, so the interface and the way the screens look are all the same. As we've been showing you so far today, everything has been done on a computer with a standard browser to navigate these employee self-service. But as we mentioned before, Workday also has a mobile app that you can use. I should note that it is optional to download on your Android or Apple device, and Workday will still be accessible via your compatible browser if that's what you choose to do. So there's no mandatory, you must put this on your personal device. So what can you do with this mobile app? A few things are you can view your time off balances. You can also submit time off requests to your supervisor. As Lee was just showing, there's multiple options to update your personal information. We also will have in Workday Learning, and you will be able to enroll in some of those courses and manage your enrollments through the mobile app. You can access your Workday inbox. There will be an ability to review and approve most of the business processes on the go. And lastly, you can also look at your Workday notifications from your device. Once we go live, we'll be sharing instructions on how to download this, and it'll be available at that point in time. And as I noted, if you don't want to do this, you can still access Workday through your device on a compatible browser. And with now, we'll show you the last demonstration.
Let's take a sneak peek at the Workday mobile app. As a disclaimer, what you see here is representative and may not exactly be what you see at Go Live. Still, we wanted you to have a general idea of what the mobile app looks like. What can you use the mobile app for? We suggest you use it for quick, self-service tasks similar to how we can complete those tasks in a browser. Let me show you the app. We have the search bar, our applications, and a navigation bar at the bottom of our screen with our home button and inbox. For now, let's complete a self-service task by updating an emergency contact for Evan. Just as we would in the browser, let's click the profile icon, then View Profile to get Evan's profile view. For now, let's find the Contact Profile group and tap Emergency Contacts. Since we're updating an existing contact, we'll tap the contact's name just update Edna's phone number. We'll tap into primary phone, then tap her current number to edit. Once the number is correct, we'll tap Done, then Close. Next, we'll tap Submit to complete, and that's it. We've updated the phone information for Evan employee's emergency contact. That's the conclusion of this demonstration. I hope you now have a better understanding of how to use the mobile app to make updates to your worker profile and information.
We hope you enjoyed some of those demos of a few of the employee self-service features. As Lee mentioned at the beginning, there's other employee self-service features that we will go in more depth at future functional overviews. But how can you learn more about Elevate? I recommend you get started from our website. This is going to be your landing page for some key information. You can explore this website to learn more about our program goals, see a little bit of our timeline and what's up next. We also maintain a robust frequently asked questions. We take some of the questions that we may have gotten today, and we will be posting those on the website as needed. We also publish a monthly newsletter that you can subscribe to from the website, and we maintain a glossary. The purpose of this glossary is to kind of give a crosswalk between the Workday terms and, where available, what the corresponding Maryland term is. And lastly, it's the primary spot to get information and updates about our news and events. For example, as I noted, this session will be posted to the website, so you can go back and reference either this full session or the recorded demos, but that's also where we put any of our past event recordings, and also where we will notify you of future events that are happening. So we want to hear from you. We have a quick poll that we'd like to get some feedback from those of you on the call. We'll give it about another 30 seconds and then we will close the poll. Okay, it looks like we have a lot of great responses. Karen, if you can go ahead and shut the poll in about 5 seconds, that would be great. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Next up, we'd like to open the floor to some questions and answers. Karen, do we have some questions for Lee and I?
Yes, I do. We received so many questions. My team, while this was going on, our team in the back end answered 27 questions. And they're still working on answering some questions in the queue as well, which is awesome. I want to start off with one of the first questions we got was, how will we log into Workday? And I think another piece of that maybe we haven't talked about in the past, Gay, is when will people learn how to log into Workday?
Great. So the first part, how we log into Workday, you'll be using your same single sign-on like you use for other applications today. So if you, you log in with your directory ID, your directory password, and then you use your multi-factor authentication, your Duo Mobile. I tend to use Duo Mobile. So whatever authentication process you use today, whether it's one of those little keychain things or the app on your mobile device, or if you have a series of codes that you use, that will stay the same of how you log on. The second part of the question about the when, we will be providing the formal training starting next spring. And one of the first things will be the introduction to Workday and how you log in.
Great.
Did I get both parts of that question, Karen?
You did. Okay, so I am going to share a few questions that our team answered that I think are relevant. One question we got was, when Workday goes live, will all of the information that is already stored on employees be migrated into Workday? The answer to that is that the data that we have data for, so for instance, there are some new things that we're adding, but everything that we have data for our employees will be migrated into Workday and made ready for everybody. Another question, Gay, that I think you can speak to is, will it be required to be sharing some things like our pronouns or our sexual orientation or anything like that?
No, for those two items in particular, no, they won't be required. They will be optional. The one of the personal information items that will be required for the federal reporting requirements is your gender. Your gender details, where you might want to have more options. There are more options to identify as different genders. That will not be required and will not be used for federal reporting.
Great. We got a few questions asking if supervisors will be able to view their employees' emergency contacts. The answer to that is yes. Supervisors will be able to view their employees' emergency contacts. We also got a couple questions about general security of different documents and fields. One thing that I wanted to mention that was covered in a question answered by our team is that legal documents being submitted are reviewed by HR analysts in a specific security role where it's their job to review those legal documents, but they are otherwise secure. And then let me see what else I can cover for everyone. A question that we get a lot is about benefits and if there will be a tab for benefits, or are we, is benefits right now, we all know that benefits is through the state of Maryland's Workday instance. That will remain the same. You will still do your benefits, complete your benefits, and open enrollment in the state of Maryland's Workday instance, and not in our Workday instance.
Yep, that's correct. So you'll still, when you enroll in your benefits in the fall, you'll still use your W number to do that.
Another question is, can you update your tax election in Workday, or does this still need to be done through POSC? I forget what that acronym is.
Payroll Online Service Center.
Yes.
I love the POSC. I use it. Well, those of us that are doing our taxes right now, you might be using it to pull down your W-2s.
Yes. Yes. Yes, you will be still doing those items through POSC. We got another question about, for employees that don't use computers, will supervisors be able to complete some of those activities? And I don't know, Gay, if you want to speak on that briefly.
Yeah, that's a great question. And we're at time, so I'll be brief on this. The short answer is yes, there is an ability for a manager to self-serve on behalf of those employees that need that support, either limited computer access, or they don't have a device to input the information on, if there's a language barrier, and that will be the topic of future sessions.
So we are at time. There are very few questions that were not yet addressed. And if we did not address your question, we will follow up with you. And we will also be sending out a follow-up email.
Great. Well, thank you all again for attending on behalf of myself and the rest of my team and all the support we've had with the questions and the panelists in the background. We want to thank you for being engaged with Elevate and attending this functional overview, and we look forward to your participation in the future. Thank you.
Thank you all so much.